Hey guys, what's up? It's your boy T for 365 Horror, and this is a horror movie discovery channel. I am just here to put as many horror movies on your watch list as possible, and we're going to take a look at every single brand new streaming horror release for the week of October 27th, plus catching up on a couple, and of course, getting into my trailer reactions. So let's get into it right now. Now, we are going to get into the video, but before we do, I've got to remind you guys to please like and subscribe if you like this content. Also, there will always be chapters and timestamps in the description, so feel free to jump around the movies as you please. And also, I know it's hard sometimes for my Canadian friends because some of these movies are region locked. So what I've done is I've went ahead and put a Canadian flag in the initial introduction of the movie, just so you know exactly which ones I was able to find raw dog in Canada. And lastly, I've taken the liberty of front-loading the free movies or the service movies at the beginning of the video, so you always know that once we get to kind of the Google Plays and Prime videos, that most of the movies will be rent from there. Well, guys, we're finally here. I'm recording this on Friday, which of course is Halloween, and it is spooky season, or the end of it. I love this night so much. I'm not going to be out there partying it up, of course, because I'm just like an old boring dude. I'm going to be at home handing out candy to kids, but I'm glad that it's a little bit of a short video because unfortunately, you know, we had to kind of get the house ready and get everything ready. We got a costume for the dog, so she's going to look super cute. Maybe I'll try to slip a picture in if we get one of her. And I didn't really have as much time to watch as many movies this week. I had a friend who broke up with his girl, which is always sad, and so I kind of went over there and just, you know, spent a night or two with him, just chilling out and just kind of keeping him company because I know how hard it can be. I've been in that situation. But the one movie I did get to watch this week was Solvent, and this is a weird ass, like, WTF movie for sure. It's the found footage that we saw where it's like the Nazi documents or whatever, but I actually liked the movie. The acting was middle of the road for a found footage, which is kind of normal for a found footage, but the movie just has got some very weird things going on in it. So if you like kind of that weirder horror, it's definitely one for you. I like the mystery that it built. It builds this mystery around what you see in the trailer. I don't want to spoil anything, but you know, they come across like this kind of looking for these Nazi documents and come across something, and you just see a really good, weird kind of change and things go on. It's just a weird movie in so many respects. And one of the things that you do see a lot of is you see a lot of like full frontal male twig and berries, or beans and franks as I like to call it. And this is gonna sound weird, but I always notice that when they show full frontal of a dude in a movie, it's always going to be a weird, or it's going to be raw or gory or just like disturbing. And this movie doesn't disappoint. There is plenty of full frontal nudity, and trust me, I'm not watching for any other reason other than I'm watching the movie. So, but yeah, man, this movie does get pretty weird, and it's good. It's got a good mystery. So if you're into that kind of weirder, cerebral kind of sci-fi feeling, then this might be a found footage for you. But with that, let's get right into some new stuff. First movie we're going to cover is a straight horror named Hell House LLC Lineage, and this movie is available on Shudder. After a near-death experience, Vanessa Shepard faces nightmares in Abaddon. As mysterious deaths occur around her, she discovers her connection to the Abaddon Hotel, Carmichael Manor, and decades of unexplained murders. It is directed by Stefan Cognetti. Okay, so after watching the trailer for Hell House LLC Lineage, this one looks like an alright kind of supernatural horror. Now, I'm always excited for another entry into the Hell House LLC kind of franchise, but I'm not really excited that in this one it seems like they ditched the found footage angle. And honestly, it gives me a little bit of skepticism on whether or not this is going to be a good movie, because I feel like the found footage nature of it was really the heartbeat of the franchise, because it just did a good job of kind of the slow panning movements and like horror that's like not really there, but is there or moved, but it all came down to kind of like sweeping angles, and then as it swept back, you as the viewer noticed something changed or moved, but the characters didn't. And so I feel like we're gonna lose some of that kind of scare, creep, and anticipation. And I'm just not 100% sure that we're really gonna find that same kind of tension in a traditionally shot film. Plus, I'm also kind of sad to say that the trailer itself just didn't really hook me. Like, I didn't really see any kind of gore or real scares that got me excited, or nothing that really gripped me or stood out. So I really hope that since they kind of decided to ditch the original angle, that they really lean into and give us something kind of compelling in the story. So seeing as I've stuck with the Hell House LLC franchise from the start, I don't see that's changing. But I'm really interested to see if they can keep the kind of spirit of this franchise alive without the kind of found footage camcorder. But I think since I have to see the newest iteration, that Hell House LLC is going to get a regular to maybe just a slightly higher priority on my watch list.
So why do you need a Catholic priest?
About 2 years ago, I started investigating the deaths of the Carmichael family. The lineage of all these people leads back to a smashed pickup truck along Route 103 in 1989.
You want to exorcise the Carmichael.
Next movie we're going to take a look at is another straight horror named House of Ashes. And this movie is available on Prime Video. Grieving widow Mia must survive psychological and supernatural horrors while under house arrest in the House of Ashes. It is directed by Izzy Lee. Okay, so after watching the trailer for the House of Ashes, this one looks like a decent kind of supernatural psychological horror. Now, first off, I did like how it had a few kind of genuine creeps and scares thrown into the mix. And it also had this kind of surreal, mystical vibe that could make it stand out from just the usual sort of haunted house fare. But the downside is that the acting felt just a little bit wooden, and I'm really hoping that that kind of mystical element doesn't really cross over into just giving us like a bunch of weird. And don't get me wrong, I'm not disparaging weird. Weird can be good. It's just, sometimes those ones can walk like a fine line between eerie and awkward. So overall, I thought that House of Ashes looked alright, definitely made me curious enough to check it out, but I don't think it's going to be anything that rushes to the top of my list. So I think this one's going to get a regular spot on my watch list.
Killer, or maybe even serial killer.
You will wear this device without fail for the period of 1 year starting today. Watch your back, man.
Next movie we're going to take a look at is a horror thriller named Indera, and this movie is available on Apple TV and Prime Video. Set against the backdrop of the violent Mamali incident in 1985, this psychological thriller is about a visiting handyman and his young daughter who experience mysterious visions in a remote village amid the fatal police raids against fundamentalists. It is directed by Ming Jin Woo. Okay, so after watching the trailer for Indera, this one looks like a little bit of a middle-of-the-road kind of thriller horror. And I think the dynamic could lead to some weird, unsettling moments and some weird kind of treatments and exactly what they do to kind of get a breakthrough on this girl. And I like how it kind of breaches into that supernatural element too, with these weird visions that the main character is having, and it looked like they actually had some pretty decent kind of light creeps. But just for a usual heads up, it does look like this film is subtitled. Overall, I think Indera can deliver us a few eerie moments with a story and setting I'm actually kind of into. So I think this one's going to get a regular to maybe a little bit of a lower spot on my watch list.
Keluargaku dari dulunya memang menguruskan rumah anak yatim. Orang luar bilang, ini rumah orang-orang mana?
Kalau kamu ada dengar seseorang panggil nama kamu dari dalam hutan itu, jangan toleh dan jangan jawab.
Last new movie we're going to take a look at this week is a horror thriller named Bone Lake. And this movie is available on Google Play, Apple TV, and Prime Video.
Want to know what happens if you lose?
A couple's vacation at a secluded estate is upended when they're forced to share the mansion with a mysterious couple. A dream getaway spirals into a nightmarish maze of sex, lies, and manipulation, triggering a battle for survival. It is directed by Mercedes Bryce Morgan. Okay, so after watching the trailer for Bone Lake, this one looks like it could be a decent to good thriller horror. So first off, right off the bat, this movie kind of gave me a little bit of a light Speak No Evil vibe, just very light, because it looks like you get some like really kind of awkward, weird interactions like between the characters, and you know I love that in horror or movies or reality TV. I just love that kind of awkward energy. It just is so cringe. And it looks like the relationship between the four main characters gets pretty messy and twisted. So we could be along for like a really dark psychological ride. I also like how it built a little bit of mystery around why these characters were even put together in the first place, because it really hints at something deeper and maybe kind of dark simmering under the surface. So Bone Lake looks like an intriguing watch with these really kind of interesting character dynamics and just enough tension to really keep things interesting. So I think this one's going to get a regular spot on my watch list.
I think this is an opportunity to prove your love before the weekend is through. But if you leave now, there are things about us and each other that you're never gonna know.
It seems like someone wanted all of us here.
All right, so now we're going to play some catch up, and this is something that I like to do for faithful followers of the series, because if I miss movies, I really want to make sure that I am covering as many movies as I know about or find out about. So the next movie we're going to take a look at is an action comedy horror named ZombieCON Vol.1. And this movie is available on Apple TV, Google Play, and Prime Video. A group of cosplaying friends trigger a zombie apocalypse and are forced to traverse a zombie-infested Los Angeles to save their loved ones. It is directed by Kyle Valley. Okay, so after watching the trailer for ZombieCON Vol.1, this one looks like a meh to decent kind of zombie horror. I actually really like the setting in this one because being a self-proclaimed geek, I really am no stranger to like cons and people dressing up at them. Not me, people. So the idea of this kind of almost Revenge of the Nerds geek revenge really sits well with me. It also came off nice and bloody, as any real good zombie flick should be properly gory. My only worry is at one point you kind of see the zombies grouped up and one of them talks, and it just sounds so ridiculous. And so I'm hoping that with hearing the way that that kind of happened and just the way the movie devolves near the end, I really hope that this doesn't really slide into a like zany territory. Now, ZombieCON looks like a fun, bloody time, especially if it can kind of keep that balance right. So considering hopefully it doesn't get too zany, I think this one's going to get a regular spot on my watch list.
The federal government has declared a state of martial law and has warned all citizens to stay indoors, as the now confirmed outbreak begins to spread outside the border of Los Angeles.
So the whole city is zombies?
All right, last movie we're going to take a look at this week, guys, is an adventure horror sci-fi named Woken. And this movie is available on Google Play, Apple TV, and Prime Video. A woman wakes up from an accident with no memory of who she is, and the realization that the human race is close to extinct. It is directed by Alan Friel. Okay, after watching the trailer for Woken, this one looks like a decent sci-fi horror. What struck me right away is I really liked the kind of mystery that it built, and I really felt for the main character right away. I'm also a sucker for these nothing is real stories, and that mixed with this kind of held captive angle means that we could get some solid escape tension out of the film. And once you add in that humanity is almost extinct element, I feel like we get a good apocalyptic angle to the whole thing. Now, all that being said, I didn't see a ton of horror in the trailer, so if this one does catch your eye, I think you should be ready for more story than scares. Overall, I think Woken looks like a good day watch, because you get something mysterious, intense, and overall just a little bit bleak. So I think this film with its very light Ice Spice clone is going to get a regular spot on my watch list.
You never knew your parents. James says that's why this baby is so important to you both.
This must be a lot for you to take in.
Maybe a trip to the mainland might help me remember.
Once the baby's here, if you still want to go, we'll go.
How do I get off this island?
You can't. Anna, please. While there's still time, go back.
Well, guys, that's going to do it for another episode of brand new releases for you guys to watch and stream. I hope you enjoyed this video, and if you did find a couple of gems for your watch list, please leave me a like and subscribe. Now, if I had to make a couple of picks this week, the first pick is going to be Hell House LLC Lineage. As much as I'm kind of thrown off over the fact that they went away from the found footage angle, I still want to kind of see where this series goes and how it is. I do hope if it falls flat, because I have heard a lot of that it does kind of fall flat, that they take that perspective into account and maybe come back with something that we're more accustomed to for the next one. Again, I just thought that this series was really built off those kind of subtle scares, the subtle scares that you only get in a found footage, because the slow panning and just the kind of look around nature only really fits a found footage. I mean, you do get it in some kind of static traditional filming, but it just doesn't hit as effective as kind of a shaky handy cam, like panning where you know that the character is not noticing what you're noticing. It just adds a little bit of tension to it. So I really hope that they can kind of hold it together and that there is something at least decent to watch here. And my last pick for the week, I'm going to make sure to pick one that is new. And for me, that's going to be Bone Lake. I just like that, again, that kind of Speak No Evil vibe where you get these really kind of awkward character interactions. I think there's going to be some weird stuff going on. Sex and whatever. It sounds like it's going to be a sordid story where, you know, maybe some weird things happen and then obsession happens. Like, it just has a lot of good kind of angles going for it. It's got that little bit of mystery, like, why are these people here? Were they put together on purpose? Did the couple who showed up, were they maybe always going to show up? Like, you know, it just has a lot of good, decent mystery elements that I think could pan out and give us some good revelations. So that is going to be my second pick of the week. Well, guys, that's it for me for real this time. I am out of here as I have got a ton of movies to watch. If you've made it this far into the video, thank you. I appreciate you. I hope you guys have been taking care of yourselves. And if you're here watching this video, that means you did have a safe Halloween night. Hopefully it was lit and fun and all that good stuff. And I will see you guys in the next one. Peace.
You'll never